When most people think about how Islam reached the Indian subcontinent, they picture armies crossing the northern frontier. We imagine centuries of military campaigns, sprawling empires, and stone monuments built by conquerors. Today, massive concentrations of South Asia's 650 million Muslims live in the far south and along the coastal borders, areas thousands of miles away from those traditional inland invasion routes. Then there is the timeline. Down in Kerala, the Cheraman Juma Mosque stands as physical evidence of a much older history. It was built in 629 CE, decades before Arab armies ever set foot on Indian soil. To figure out how the religion actually took root here, we have to look away from the battlefield and turn toward the ocean. Long before the Prophet Muhammad was born, Arab merchants were already regular visitors to the Malabar and Gujarat coasts. They sailed across the Arabian Sea every year to buy timber, aromatics, and spices. In the early 7th century, the advent of Islam took these scattered, politically fragmented traders and united them under a single shared faith. When these newly unified merchants returned to their ships, they carried their religion along the exact same maritime trade networks they had been navigating for generations. The rhythm of this maritime trade was entirely at the mercy of the weather, specifically the annual monsoon winds of the Arabian Sea. Because these wind patterns only reverse direction every few months, a merchant couldn't simply dock, sell his cargo, and sail home. The environment forced them into extended layovers, waiting out the season on the Indian coast. During those long months, Arab traders integrated into local coastal societies. They learned regional dialects, married locals, and formed permanent hybrid communities like the Mapilas. What began as a meteorological constraint became a social bridge. Merchants transitioned into full-time residents, bringing Islam into Indian families through daily interaction. These coastal ports were hubs of immense wealth, acting as the central nodes connecting India to markets in Arabia, Persia, and Southeast Asia. The local Hindu kings recognized these Muslim merchants as vital economic engines. To ensure ships kept coming to their shores instead of arrivals, rulers granted them land for mosques and total protection. This relationship was solidified through merchant guilds, like the Anjuvanam. These organizations officially folded foreign traders into the civic administration, giving them formal political standing. For these monarchs, a thriving Islamic community was a strategic asset. Protecting the merchants meant securing the region's prosperity through a monopoly on the most lucrative trade routes in the world. Traditional society was defined by a rigid caste system. Laborers at the bottom had no chance for upward mobility. Islam introduced a theology where standing was grounded in virtue. In the mosque, merchants and laborers stood shoulder to shoulder, a radical departure. As lower caste communities like weavers and cotton knitters saw their labors gain new legal and social standing through this egalitarian model, the faith spread from house to house. Conversion became a practical tool for self-liberation. This grassroots movement bypassed the need for military intervention. The theology of equality provided a systemic escape hatch, driving a quiet, massive shift in the region's religious landscape. Over centuries, these coastal hubs evolved into a unique synthesis where Arab and Hindu customs became inseparable. This hybrid identity remains visible today in everything from the region's distinct architecture to its cuisine and family structures. This peaceful, localized integration stands in sharp contrast to the destructive military campaigns that would later push into the north, attempting to force a change from the top down. Armies can capture territory for a time, but the most permanent cultural transformations happen through the quiet, everyday exchanges of commerce and community.